Well, I'm extremely tired. This was supposed to go up last night, but I had to work early. I had to watch this on the internet, and and then I'm doing it now. So, whatever. Here we go. So anyway, we start off with this show, and it already starts off shitty. When's the last time a WWE show started off with a match? Remember back in the day, and even non-Attitude Era shows used to start with a match a lot of the time. Sometimes you would get a promo, sometimes you get a match. Now it's strictly promo, and it always predictably sets up for a match later on the night. Think about it. When was the last time you saw an opening segment on SmackDown that didn't lead to a match of some sort? And it's always going to happen later in that night. It's either some shitty-ass tag match or something like that. It's just so fucking predictable at this point. I can't even fathom how they don't realize this. Or maybe they do realize this and they're just comfortably numb to the fact that no one is watching SmackDown. It's all about Raw. And now everybody's pretty much not watching Raw. So, it's like, hello, wake up, McFly. Like we're trying to send you a message here by people not watching the show. It's probably time to change up the formula a little bit. It's very formulaic. It's the same shit every single fucking week. Anyway, this is probably the lamest thing I've seen in a long time. It's a test of their finishers. So basically, you've got a punching bag, looks like a speed bag, really, to be more accurate, and they're supposed to hit it, and it measures the force of the attack. So Sheamus kicks it, and he gets a high number, I guess, and then he infuriates Big Show. Big Show's complaining that it's stupid. It's really funny that in a lot of these segments, including the debate that happened on Raw, the wrestlers are complaining that what they're having to do is lame. Isn't it funny when they're actually writing into the show that the wrestlers are saying that the segment is lame, and it is? So then why do this segment if they're just going to have the wrestler cut a promo in mid-segment saying that it's lame? That just makes it look stupid. This was just ridiculous. And anyway, Big Show gets mad, he punches him, he basically wins the competition. A good point was brought up by JBL, who said that, of course, a kick is going to be more powerful than a punch. This is pretty evident. This is pretty widely known that your legs are naturally more powerful than your arms or hands. It's just, stuff is kind of common knowledge, but in WWE world, a fist is more powerful than a foot. Go figure. So there you go. Tenside comes out and attacks Sheamus, and lo and behold, we got a match. Lo and behold, it was, I was waiting for the match to happen. Like, this segment's gonna lead to a match. Oh, there it is. There it is. And sure enough, we come back from commercial break. We've got ourselves a match. Sheamus and Tenside. This match lasts like 3 minutes. But as I have mentioned in previous reviews, I like the Tenside Sheamus chemistry. It's weird. This was a short match, but it was actually a decent short match. For 3 minutes, this was a really decent big man match. As I said, this was 2 months ago on Raw, or SmackDown, whatever it was, they had a 3-star match. This was just an example of really good looking clotheslines and just good hard hitting. It looked pretty good, realistic wrestling action, which you don't get a lot of nowadays. All that phony bullshit that we're seeing nowadays with horrible looking punches. Guys have forgotten all about how to work the American strong style, and it doesn't help that you got guys like Wade Barrett who don't know how to really work stiff, and they're just like working stiff is a gimmick now. It's not a gimmick. It's, you know, how good of a wrestler you really are. So Tenside and Sheamus have that down. You know, I noticed that since they eased off of Tenside's push, he's been performing a little bit better. So I guess maybe that push was going to his head, which happens to a lot of wrestlers. A lot of times when they get pushed, they start wrestling shitty. So now that Tenside, they eased off of his push, I'm starting to see a little bit of the old Albert. As I said, I've never been a big Albert fan, but he was decent, like, in 2000, even when he was age-trained. Like, you know, his matches were okay. They were decent. They were, you know, enjoyable. And, you know, this was an example of a passable Albert match. Anyways, very interesting to note here for all you Ryback dick suckers out there. Sheamus picked up Tenside in this match. It was like the highlight of the match and delivered the white noise. Now, you know what's very interesting about this move? It's very similar to Ryback's, because Sheamus takes Albert, picks him up like over his shoulder, and holds him like this, which is like almost as complicated as Ryback's move, because he still has to hold him using all of his back here, and drops him down. Now, why can't Ryback do that? I don't understand. You know, you people want to defend Ryback, but, you know, okay, so Tenside's only going to sandbag Ryback, and he won't sandbag Sheamus. Sheamus is way more over than Ryback, so why would it make sense for them to kill Ryback, his momentum, when all they're doing for Ryback is feeding in fake cheers? Why would they kill him? See, just like another piece of the argument to make you YWC PG motherfuckers look like the dumbasses that you are. So there you go. And then next we got Roberto Del Rio tells Ricardo Rodriguez to go look for Randy Orton. I don't know why. This is an attempt at comedy. Keep in mind the keyword attempt. So anyway, he runs into Santino. We get some PG sketch. He's scared of the sock puppet. Ricardo is apparently 6 years old and doesn't realize that that is just Santino's hand in a sock. Then we get the band, which consists of Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. Drew McIntyre's at ringside versus the Nerds, Santino Marella and Zack Ryder. Now, I said weeks ago that this was appealing to me, but that was before they started playing air guitar together. I liked when they beat up Brodus Clay weeks ago, but now they're playing air guitar. Now, it would make sense if it was just Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater. I know this might sound a little bit stereotypical, but they all have the long hair, so they do look like metalheads or rockers or whatever, so it would make sense. But Jinder Mahal is wearing a fucking turban. So how do you explain him being a rocker? They're called the band, and Jinder Mahal, after the match, so they win the match, and, you know, like 2 minutes into it, it's a 3-minute match, but 2 minutes into it, you got a reverse chin lock, so you already know this is, you know, nothing special. So anyway, the band wins, and they all take turns, like, cutting a 3-second promo. And Jinder Mahal says that their careers were out of tune. Get it? Because their name is the band, and like instruments getting out of tune, they were out of tune because they were being buried. Not funny! Not funny at all. I'm sorry, but that's just lame. You know, I like the idea of WWE coming up with a stable, since they got no fucking stables. I've never seen any part of wrestling history where they didn't have stables of some sort. It's a faction. Factions keep things interesting, you know, dominant forces. You know, they had Nexus and Evolution and what have you, and even some of them were annoying, and most factions just, you know, keep going on and on forever, and they keep repeating the same thing. But it's nice to have them. Keeps things interesting. It's like I'm saying, I'd rather have a faction that goes on forever than have none at all. Because I've learned in wrestling that that's very fucking boring not to have teams. Like legitimate teams. And, not just tag teams, but factions. And it just is not working. This could work if they weren't rockers. Why do I have to give it like this lame fucking gimmick? They can't just be fucking normal? They have to make them like act stupid? Okay, so anyway. And you got Kane defeating Dolph Ziggler by disqualification. This finish made no sense whatsoever. So the match was actually pretty decent. It was back and forth, no like rest holds or anything. I don't get the point of Ziggler dropping like 16 million elbows in the match, but it's okay. I'm not gonna complain. At least it's not a chin lock. I mean, I'll take anything over the fucking chin lock that he did back at Night of Champions. I will take fucking 10 billion elbow drops over, a 30-minute long chin lock. But this finish made no sense. So anyway, Ziggler crotches Kane on the top rope. So basically he's got his balls all swollen and shit. And for some reason, he then clocks him with the briefcase. Now why the fuck did he have to do that? He's got Kane in a compromising position on the top rope. He could hit his finisher from the top, something awesome that would make him look so strong. Like imagine if he took Kane and zigzagged him off the top, or famouser him off the top or something. That would be awesome. And going into Hell in a Cell, you'd be like, holy shit, he just fucking destroyed Kane. So he looks strong. Like he might take the title. He might rush in after the Big Show Sheamus match and take the title. Holy shit, Ziggler looks good. Instead, no, he loses by DQ in a lame-ass fashion. And I don't understand why. Why the fuck did they choose this stupid, contrived finish that just looked really awkward and out of place? So it just goes without saying that Ziggler just looks pathetic. And then Daniel Bryan comes in at the end, and Stryker comes in and he calls Daniel Bryan the weak link. Why do they say stupid shit like this? How is he the weak link? Why put that idea in people's heads? Just because Daniel Bryan is 5'10", he fucking wrestles circles around fucking Kane. They're wasting him. Anyway, I like that they just beat the fuck out of Stryker. It made me happy. I like just seeing fucking morons like that destroyed. It's about time. Then you got what do we got here? Big Show and Kofi Kingston. Big Show destroys Kofi Kingston. Why? Doesn't Kofi Kingston have a big match at main event that they're building towards? That's why they had the Miz at ringside commentating. So this match is all about Kofi Kingston, and why is the Big Show his opponent? So he gets destroyed. They make him look really weak in comparison. So he's going into a title match looking like a loser. Why did Big Show have to have this match? They should have put the Big Show against someone else or something. Or, have Sheamus at least interfere. It made no sense whatsoever to have this match. I don't understand. I say it week after week. Who the fuck is booking these shows? These finishes don't make any sense. Why kill someone's momentum like Ziggler or Kofi Kingston when, they're on a roll and they just fucking stop them dead? Do they have any idea about how to build somebody up? How to build momentum? It used to be all about momentum during the Attitude Era. You would never see, the big stars, Stone Cold jobbing out for no reason. You would never see The Rock just laid down for a clean pin, to some fucking worthless guy who never drew a dime for the company. So just pointless, shitty, dumb. Then you get this weird segment in the back. They're still going on about this Caitlyn shit, who took her out at the pay-per-view. And no one fucking cares. You've got Layla and Caitlyn are just talking over each other. And I'm like, shut the fuck up! It's like, it sounds annoying. It sounds stupid. Like, I don't even understand what they're trying to fucking say. And then Booker T tells them to quiet down. And Teddy Long tells them, says to Booker T, oh, they're trying to tell you that they found a blonde wig in Eve's bag. So then Eve then says, oh no, I found the blonde wig in your bag, Teddy. Like, that makes a lot of sense. And then puts the wig on Teddy. And then they just walk out to get coffee. Was this supposed to be comedy by seeing Teddy Long with a blonde wig on his head? Was I supposed to laugh at this? Because I wasn't laughing. It was actually kind of depressing. It looked stupid. Once again, very contrived humor that wouldn't make anybody but a 5-year-old laugh. And then we get Sin Cara defeating Damien Sandow. This was an okay match. It was alright. Nothing too special, which is pretty common for Sin Cara matches nowadays. You know, it's funny because in 2011, Sin Cara matches felt special. Now, since he's been back in 2012, he's just kind of boring. You know, I can't put my finger on it, but the mystique and the athleticism doesn't seem as impressive anymore. And really, a lot of his moves are not very original anymore. He used to be, like, innovative, but now he's just, I don't know. He's doing the flux capacitor, but he doesn't even do those moves anymore. So Sandow jobs here. No problem with that. I mean, Sandow gets distracted, so it's like, it's okay. So that makes sense. But then I'll tell you what doesn't make sense. The next match, the main event. Roberto Del Rio going over Daniel Bryan clean. This is the point of the show. This is the point of the video where we get fucking angry. Why? Why job Daniel Bryan out clean? Isn't he on a fucking roll here with the tag team champion shit? Roberto Del Rio is just in a lame ass feud with Randy Orton that no one fucking cares about. That, it's not going anywhere. It's an empty feud that it's not going any place. So anyway, the match is okay. They're not really like going out of their way to make this feel special or anything, or breaking out like any other cool moves. It's just basically all their regular stuff that they do. Drop kick in the corner, kick them in the arm. Just the same, basic signature moves, not even like their cooler signature moves. So it's okay. It's like 2 stars if I had to rate it. And the funny thing about this is during the match, Daniel Bryan locks on the label lock. And he's got him in the label lock for 2 whole minutes. And he's lasting. He barely manages to get to the ropes. And that's all fine and well. And then Del Rio somehow anticlimactically gets him in the cross arm breaker. And he taps out in 3 fucking seconds. Now, if you want people to take Daniel Bryan seriously, you should have had Del Rio tap out. Because that would have been a somewhat big victory for Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan is now a lot hotter with the crowd than Del Rio is. No one gives a fucking shit about Del Rio. And don't even try to lie to me in the comments and say that people do. Because he's not really over. he doesn't really deliver good matches. His matches with Sheamus weren't good. You know, they were decent, they were passable, but they weren't good. They weren't classics, and they just weren't good. Now, what I am upset about here mainly is that Del Rio is surviving this, supposed to be one of the best submission moves in WWE. It's like it's feared, it's dreaded. Snapper tap, the label lock. But then, when Del Rio puts his move on, it makes the label lock look very weak in comparison when you think about it. Because it's like, oh, here's your label lock. Oh, I'll be able to last for about 2 minutes and get to the ropes. But I put my fucking cross arm breaker on you and you're going to tap out in 2 seconds, bitch. Like, Daniel Bryan is so much of a better wrestler. And without a doubt, you could argue that CM Punk is better. But Daniel Bryan is more well-rounded. And fuck it, he's just better than Punk. This is why I always preach that he's the best wrestler. And I'm not being a mark. The proof is there. If you watch his matches, he gave Sheamus one of his best matches he had in WWE. All the one-on-one matches he had with Punk were gold. It's just the proof is there. He could have a good match with anybody if he's allowed to. But this just seriously pisses me off because they just made him look fucking weak in this match. Then after that, they find Randy Orton. He's just there. He suddenly appears. Whoa, I don't know. I guess he slithered in the ring, that fucking retard. And anyway, Del Rio runs out of the ring. And then he gives the RKO to Ricardo Rodriguez on the announcer's table, and it doesn't even break. Fail! You know something? I'm happy that happened. Because I am actually overjoyed when something bad happens in WWE. As much as I am a fan and supporter of this company, because I have been for my whole life, I'm happy. Because they keep... Sorry for my voice. Said I'm getting over a cold. But I'm happy when something fails in WWE. Because it just is karma. You slap us in the face with your shitty PG bullshit. So something like the table not breaking and ruining that shitty ass motherfucker Randy Orton's RKO is just karma there. So you're not going to respect the fans. You're going to slap us in the face with a shitty product. Well, there you go. This show was not terrible overall. But as I've stated throughout this review, there was a lot of things that fucking pissed me off. There was nothing overly terrible on the show, but the booking is weird. And they're wasting Daniel Bryan in this tag shit. So, yeah, it's just fucking pissing me off to no end. That Daniel Bryan, their best wrestler, who could be having great matches at Night of Champions. He could have had an epic match. Hell in a Cell, he could be having an epic match. Instead, he's going to be jobbing the tag titles to Mysterio and Sin Cara. And don't be a mark and say, oh, how do you know? That's pretty fucking obvious. So, it was an okay, just passable episode of SmackDown. Better than Raw, but still pretty shitty. All I can say is that I pray to fucking God that Lynn McMahon loses this Senate race and that perhaps we can start, climbing our way out of the PG pit. Maybe someone, after Linda loses, they'll throw a rope down the pit and we'll start climbing back up to greatness. But, it's really a shot in the dark at this point. So, yeah, there's your review.